Do you want to create a successful Pinterest marketing strategy? Then you need to understand how to effectively use keywords within your Pinterest content. I'm Emily Bales. I'm a Pinterest marketing and ad strategist, and for the past 4 years, I've helped my clients and my students increase their traffic and turn it into profit through the power of Pinterest marketing. So I shared with you that you need to understand how to use Pinterest keywords effectively. And by the end of this video, you are going to be able to use keywords in 10 different places when you are creating content for Pinterest. And when you use keywords in all 10 of these places, and you understand what keywords to be using, as long as you are consistent, you will see growth on Pinterest. So I frequently see businesses, unfortunately, sleeping on the power of Pinterest. And what I mean by that is I think it's often overlooked as a platform that is really beneficial to business owners. And I think that's because a lot of times business owners, it's very evident and popular to use social media platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, and Meta. And I am by no means saying don't utilize social media, but I'm just saying don't sleep on the power of Pinterest. You see, especially as a small business or a business that's just getting started, Pinterest allows you this unique opportunity to be discovered by keywords. So when a Pinterest user is coming to the platform, the first action they are typically taking is going up to the search bar and they type in keywords. And whatever keywords they are typing in, they're typically looking for ideas, inspiration, or they have a problem and they're actively looking for a solution. And then from there, they see pins come up and they are going to click on or interact with whatever images or videos are hooking them in or catching their attention. And they are either leaving the Pinterest platform to learn more, or they might be saving that pin for later. I like to say that pinners are planners. So a lot of time they are planning special moments and they are often planning for the future. However, even if they are planning ahead, there still is a high intent there. So you just have this unique opportunity to draw in a different type of audience and an audience that behaves differently than they might on social media. And because Pinterest is a search engine, you don't have to have a lot of followers in order to see growth or a lot of traffic from the platform. But what you do need to be able to do is use those keywords effectively in all areas of your content and in your profile on the platform so that you can be discovered by that perfect audience. So I am going to show you here in a minute the 10 different places that you need to be using keywords. But you might be wondering, before using those keywords, you might be wondering, okay, Emily, how do I understand how to find the keywords that I should be using in my content? And that is a great question. So in this video, I have linked another YouTube video I created, and it's all about how to do keyword research on Pinterest. So if you're in the stage of getting started on Pinterest and you have no idea what keywords you should be using, I highly recommend going and watching that YouTube video because it's going to talk more about SEO and using keywords on Pinterest, but exactly how to do that keyword research. Because in today's video, I'm showing you where to use those keywords. So you'll want to have your keywords compiled, and then today you will be learning where to use those keywords. So once you have optimize your content, you're using keywords in all of the correct places, as long as you are staying consistent, I am confident that you absolutely will see growth with your Pinterest strategy. Now, one other thing before I share this demonstration that I want to explain is that because Pinterest is a search engine, it takes time and consistency. Like I already mentioned, you're going to see consistency theme here in my content, but it takes time and consistency on the platform in order to see growth. So if you get started on Pinterest and expect to be an overnight success in 30, 60, or 90 days, then I think you're going to be disappointed. And especially with Pinterest, with it being a search engine, it takes time because Pinterest needs to index your content, And I like to think of indexing as essentially Pinterest creating these little file folders. They need to essentially index your content and understand what it's about so that when a Pinterest user comes to the platform, they understand, oh, this is what this Pinterest creator has created. I'm gonna pull this out of their folder and put it into essentially this search. So it's gonna take time for Pinterest to understand who you are, what content you're creating, and they're gonna understand that through you optimizing your content. So this is going to be a great opportunity for you to really understand where you need to be using those keywords. So like I mentioned, be sure to check out that other YouTube video if you want to learn how to uncover those keywords, because there's a lot of different methods that you can utilize when you're doing your keyword research. But the methods I am sharing are all on the Pinterest platform. So you can just do your keyword research right on the platform. But for all intents and purposes, let's go ahead and say you already understand what keywords you want to be ranking for, and now you want to figure out how and where to use those. I am going to give you a demonstration on my Pinterest account. So let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, here we are on my Pinterest account, and we are going to dive into the 10 different places that you need to be using keywords when you are marketing on the platform. So the first place we are going to look at is your profile name. So yes, Pinterest profiles actually come up on searches on Pinterest. So when somebody's trying to learn more about Pinterest marketing, I want my profile to surface in their results. So you can see it says Emily Vales, but Emily Vales doesn't really tell about what I do, who I serve. And so I have put Pinterest marketing and strategy. I would say that Pinterest marketing, those would be the pillar keywords that I want to be ranking for. And in case you were unaware, pillar keywords are anywhere from 1 to 2 words, and long tail keywords are typically 2 to 4, but usually 2 to 3. So Pinterest marketing, those are, like I said, the pillar keywords I want to be ranking for. So I'm using those in my profile name. So place number 1, your profile name. Place number 2 that you want to be adding keywords, your profile bio. So you can see here, I'm a Pinterest marketing and ad strategist, and I help business owners increase their traffic and turn it into profit through both organic and paid marketing strategies. Honestly, because I not only help business owners, but now I'm also teaching different people whoever's interested, how to become a Pinterest manager. I could actually include a sentence there about serving people and teaching them how to become Pinterest managers. I could include freelancer, work from home, any of those other keywords. So I could actually beef up my own profile bio just a little bit. So you're getting little keyword tips here, but also a little audit of my own account. So there is my profile name, my profile bio. Then if I jump over to saved, the next place we are going to look at adding keywords would be your board titles. So you can see here, I have some different secret boards, basement ideas, Disney World ideas. Those things, they have nothing to do with my niche. I teach about all things Pinterest marketing. I don't need to have those boards visible to the public. So that's just a little pro tip there. If you have boards that are personal and really irrelevant to your niche, you can just go ahead and make those secret. So then the next thing I am going to do, you can see I do recommend having at least 5 to 10 different boards that are going to really serve as your content buckets on the platform. And like I mentioned, they should have to do with your core content and what you're creating content about consistently. So if you have a board that is so specific that you pin to it once a year, then I would think about combining that with another board that you have that you are creating content for more frequently. So you kind of want to hedge the line between being specific and broad. So kind of in the middle there, because you don't want to be so specific with your board title that it's just not something that you're creating content over regularly, but you also don't want to be too broad either. So I kind of like to give this recommendation. So think of if you are a food blogger, if you created a board title that was just dinner ideas, that is really broad. But instead, if you did keto dinner ideas or paleo, and you just add that one keyword that makes that search even more specific, there's still probably tons of content around paleo dinner ideas, but that will help you and increase your chances of ranking when you can be a little bit more specific and not so broad. Plus, if you're a food blogger, you probably do have tons of dinner ideas. And if you can separate those a little bit more, that is just a really great practice. So when you're thinking about creating your board titles, you obviously want to be using keywords in that place. So you can see here, I have an entire board just about SEO for Pinterest, so using keywords. Now we are on the, the fourth place that we are going to be, I had to think about that for a second. We are on the fourth place that we are going to be using keywords, and that would be in your board descriptions. So quick recap, we are using keywords in your profile name, your profile bio, your board titles, your board descriptions, that fourth place. So you can see here, in my board description, I put get tutorials, tips, and how-tos for understanding SEO on Pinterest. Learn more about how you can build a solid keyword plan and strategy for your business so you can create and share content that resonates and converts. Once again, I'm kind of doing a little account audit for myself here. I could probably make this board description even better if I'm being totally honest. I'm being very critical. But I do have a board description, at least have a couple of sentences. I want you to note too that I'm not just keyword stuffing, but I'm using casual sentences, I'm including keywords, and I'm not just, like I mentioned, cramming in a bunch of keywords, but I'm making it readable for a person. I'm actually assuming that a person's going to be reading it, and I'm not just cramming in keywords for the algorithm. So if you go to edit board, that is where I could go in and edit the title, edit the description. You can decide if you want to keep the board secret. Now, I don't use board covers. If you are using board covers, I highly recommend that you make them all cohesive. That means that you are making them similar. You're keeping your branding cohesive. On the board cover, you could, once again, on the board cover, you could just write the title of your board. So you're also using keywords in that place. That's not something that I think is going to affect the growth of your Pinterest account. As long as you are using the keywords in your board titles and descriptions, I think you're good. So just wanted to touch on that. So now that we have talked about the board descriptions, let's go ahead and look at your pins, because the fifth place you want to be using keywords will be in your pin titles. So when I click on this pin, here it says Pinterest SEO. That is my pin title. The sixth place you want to be using keywords would be in your pin description. So you can see here, I have a nice 2, 3, 4 sentence long pin description that I have optimized for the search engine. So you can read, it says understanding Pinterest SEO, keyword strategy. I'm just kind of picking out some of those pillar keywords I want to be ranking for. Let's see, I've used SEO, strategy, keywords, SEO tips for Pinterest. All of those are helping Pinterest understand. So that fifth place was your pin titles. Place number 6, your pin descriptions. Let's go ahead and look at place number 7, which would be in the text overlay of your pin. Now, depending on your niche, some niches don't really use the whole lot of text overlay. So that's something that you can kind of play around with. You can test creating some pins without text overlay, some with. If you are using text overlay, absolutely optimize it for the search engine. So some examples of niches that might not be using text overlay on the images, I've noticed like with photography, a lot of fashion, some of those, they kind of let the images speak for themselves and they perform well because they understand what their audience likes and engages with. So I just highly recommend always testing and paying attention to what pins are performing well and best for you, and then obviously do more of that to see growth. So here, I know that my pins, I use text overlay on all of them. And pro tip, when you are doing your keyword research, pay attention to what other people are doing and what the top ranking pins have included. Like, do they use keywords on the pins? Do they not use text overlay at all? So pay attention to that, and obviously never recommend copying, but gaining inspiration. So if none of the top ranking pins for your niche have images, maybe it's just text overlay, try testing that. If all of the top ranking pins for a specific search you're doing are infographics, try testing an infographic. not copying, but getting inspired by what's performing well for other people, right? So looking back at the pin with text overlay, I put Pinterest SEO tips. Have those pillar keywords in there that you want to be ranking for on that text overlay. So remember, quick recap, place number 5, pin title. Place number 6, you want to be using those keywords, pin description. Place number 7, you want to be using them on the text overlay. Now, what we are going to do, I am going to pretend that I am creating a pin because I'm going to show you a couple of other ways that you can and should be using keywords. If you've watched any of my previous videos, Pinterest did announce that they're moving away from individual pin formats and that essentially all pins would be just created under pins. Right now on my Pinterest account, I still see the ability to create idea pins. So when I am creating video content in my pins, I'm still clicking on idea pin. So for all intents and purposes, let's just go ahead and pretend that we are creating a video pin. Right now, it's under the idea pin format. But I want to show you this because eventually when we do see just pins, we are going to have the same features available for all pin formats. So previously, we could only do certain things for idea pins, and the capabilities and features we had available for our static or standard pins were different. So once we have that cohesiveness where we have all the same features for just our pins in general, then you'll be able to do the things that we can for idea pins for our other pins. So that's why I want to give this as an example, because there are a couple of ways that you can optimize your idea pins using keywords that we haven't been able to for our standard pins. So that's why I want to show this example really quickly. I am going to click on this video so you can see here, this is another place. So this would be place number 8 where you want to be optimizing your content for the search engine. I changed my file name. So I want to upload this video and I've actually changed the video name to using keywords on Pinterest. So when I am creating a new pin, I make sure that the files I'm uploading also are keyword optimized. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. And then we've already talked about the title, the description. Because this is an idea pin, there's additional places. So you could click on notes and the notes section, or the supplies, ingredients, it really depends. So ingredients, obviously that would be for food bloggers or people who are sharing recipes, right? Supplies, if you are a craft DIY person. With my content, I not only am writing a description, but even in the notes section, I am optimizing that using keywords. So we already talked about, like I said, title, description, also the notes section. The link, whether this be a standard pin or an idea pin, like I said, they should all be under one general umbrella soon enough once we see those kind of mesh together. But the link, you want to also think about, despite not having control of adding keywords when you're creating this content on Pinterest, you want to think about wherever you are directing your Pinterest traffic, that especially if you are directing it to your website, obviously you have confirmed your domain and also hopefully added your Pinterest tag to your website. So when you have done those two things, Pinterest has different information about your content in your website because you have installed your Pinterest tag and confirm your domain. So once you have done that, and you do want to do that, that's just a best practice, they actually index your content differently to your domain than they would to a third party like YouTube or maybe wherever you host your podcast, right? So when you are adding that link though, you want to think about that wherever you are directing that pin, that it's obviously highly relevant to that pin, because Pinterest is, like I said, especially once you have confirmed your domain and installed that Pinterest tag, they are going to be able to understand where you're directing that traffic and if it pertains to that content. So that's important too when you're thinking about obviously adding that link, that pin is relevant to the link that you're directing it to. Then you are going to want to in order to help this pin perform best, you are going to want to select the board that is the most highly relevant. So if I am talking about this video, it says, obviously you can see the headline here, it says business owners, let's make some money on Pinterest. However, really what I'm talking about is in order for businesses to make money and perform well on Pinterest, then they have to use keywords and understand how to use keywords. So it's kind of meta because I'm talking about keywords on this pin I'm creating. In this YouTube video, I'm talking about how to use keywords. Obviously, this is an important theme. So when I am choosing that, I would actually choose Pinterest SEO. Oh, shoot, I think that board is called SEO for Pinterest. There we go. I'd want to make sure I selected that board because I want to pin it to the most highly relevant board. Now, pro tip, if you are using a scheduler such as Tailwind, I should say, if you're using a scheduler such as Tailwind and you decide to use an interval and schedule your pins out to multiple boards, technically every board after that initial board is considered a repin. And that's okay to do, but you'd want to space those out. And the second board you would pin this specific pin to, you would want to make sure that it is the next highly relevant. And then the third one would be the most relevant after that one. So you can see the more boards you pin into, they are kind of decreasing in relevancy. And you want to take that into consideration that for that reason, it's probably not going to be highly relevant to 10 boards, right? So you'd only want to pin that to maybe 3, at the most 5 of the most highly relevant boards. And the reason why you don't want to be repinning a lot is because it's just not preferable in the eyes of Pinterest. They prefer fresh content. So just something to keep in mind. And then down here, so we talked about optimizing in the notes section. So that could be considered place number 9. We talked about number 8, that was changing the file name using keywords. So then for place number 10, we are going to think about optimizing the tagged topics. So you could start typing in, you want to tag as many as possible as long as they are relevant. So you can add up to 10 tags. And like I said, you would just want to make sure that they are relevant. Now, when you are searching, like if I search Pinterest marketing, that's not going to come up. So I just can't use that. So don't just add tags to add them, but as long as they are relevant, go ahead and add them. So I would continue to do this until I had 10. If you can't come up with 10 that are relevant, then don't add 10. If you can only come up with 6 or 7 that are highly relevant, then just do 6 or 7. So that is the last place that I'm going to share as far as adding keywords and really optimizing for the search engine. So let's go ahead and wrap up this tutorial. To wrap up this video, we have talked about the 10 different places that you can and should be optimizing your content for Pinterest. And remember, when you understand first what keywords you want to be ranking for, then you use them strategically in those 10 places. If you are being consistent, I guarantee you are going to see growth over time on Pinterest. And like I said, Pinterest is an amazing platform. And one thing that really sets Pinterest apart as we wrap up this video, and you might be wondering, why should I go to all this effort? Well, first of all, once you create your Pinterest strategy and you get into a rhythm, it's one of those things that you will get faster at as you continue to do it more. But why I want you to stop sleeping on the power and potential of Pinterest, and hopefully also why you're taking the time to watch this video, is because that you know that Pinterest can be working in the background for you. So what I like to do is I like to batch my Pinterest content, and then during the week, if I batch it on the weekend or on a Friday, then for the next week or 2 weeks or maybe even month, Pinterest can be working for me in the background and be sending dozens and hundreds, if not thousands, of people to my website, my lead magnets, my offers. And with Pinterest, your content lasts for days, weeks, months, and even years. And we just don't see that type of longevity on social media. So once again, it not only serves a unique purpose because the user intent is differently, but also it serves a unique purpose because your content can last so much longer and continue to work for you over time. So I would love to share more with you about Pinterest. So I want to invite you to go ahead and like this YouTube video. Be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you never miss another episode, and let me know in the comments what questions you have, not just about using keywords and understanding your keywords on Pinterest, but any Pinterest related questions or recommendations for episodes you'd like to see created in the future, because my whole intent and purpose is to serve you and help you become really a Pinterest expert. Now, if you would like more information about how to use keywords on Pinterest and you would like an additional training, I do have a paid workshop called the SEO Pinterest Expert, and I share different templates and essentially the system I use for my clients. So you can get access to that workshop that is linked in this video. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you found this helpful, and I can't wait to see you again next week. Bye for now.